Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this super cute pumpkin. And all you're going to need is pretty much any yarn. I'm going to be using a lighter weight cotton. It's kind of like a cord material. I apologize that I don't have the label for this one. It's out of my yarn stash. This is a perfect type of a pattern just to kind of use up some yarn that you have kicking around in your yarn stash. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today for this video tutorial. And because it is a lighter weight, I am using a 4mm crochet hook. My pattern, if you want the written pattern, it's in the link in the description below. You will see it reference pretty much any standard yarn that you choose if you're making the smaller pumpkin. And if you are going to be using a more standard yarn like Red Heart, Super Saver yarn, or Bernat Premium, any of those kind of weights of yarn, I would recommend a 5mm hook. And there's also a link in the description below that will take you to my Instagram page where you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram for updates. I'm going to be posting a video. Also like and subscribe my YouTube channel because you'll see when that comes up for a larger pumpkin with a really chunky yarn. So there are a couple different variations of this pattern. And today we are going to be making this exact one that you see. For the stem, I just used a cinnamon stick just from my local grocery store. And you're going to need a yarn needle. Okay? And possibly a stitch marker. Just depends on how you feel, like how confident you are keeping track of your rows. But this is a fairly easy pattern. You might not need one. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are going to begin with our starting loop. So you're just going to wrap the yarn around your finger and cross it over like an X. Pick up a little bit of that bottom, the piece that's on bottom there, and push a little bit of the top bit through to create your loop. And then just go ahead and get your hook on your loop. And we're going to work a chain of 15. So you're going to yarn over and pull right through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through. So you're just going to keep on going until you've done 15 chains and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished working your chain 15, starting in the second chain from the hook. So here's the first chain from the hook. We're going to begin in the second, okay? So you're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over your hook and then push it into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you've now got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull right through all 3. So yarn over, go into the very next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull right through all 3 loops. So you're going to go ahead and continue on working 1 half double crochet into every single chain all the way down your row. And I want you to keep in mind your stitch count. So because we began in the second chain from the hook, you had a chain of 15, but by the time that you get to the end of this row of half double crochets, you should have 14 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and work your half double crochets all the way down to the end and then come back. So now that you've gotten to the end of your row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So now we're going to be working front post half double crochets all the way down. And the way that we do that, you're going to yarn over your hook, push your hook into that first stitch. And when you're looking at the top, you'll see that little V kind of like doubled up there. That's your stitch. You want to make sure you're going through the whole stitch. But then we're going to go around behind this post right here. We're going to be going behind it and pushing our hook through the other stitch beside it there. So essentially what we're doing is we are pushing our post to the front of our work. So hence the name, front post half double crochet, right? And then you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop just like you did for every other half double crochet that you worked on in that last row. Got 3 loops on your hook. You're just going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so it's literally just a half double crochet, but instead of just going through the stitch and back, you know, in and then out of the stitch, you're going in the stitch, around behind the post and out the next one. So let's do another one together. You're going to yarn over, push your hook in that next stitch there, go behind the post and through the other stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So you're just going to go ahead, pardon me, pause your video and continue working your front post half double crochets all the way down to the end and then come back. Okay, so now that you've gone to the end of your row of front post half double crochets, you'll probably realize that you've only got 13 stitches now. Obviously, we don't want to keep on decreasing our stitch count. So in that very last stitch there, this little guy that's kind of twisted around to the back a bit, we are going to just work a regular half double crochet into that very last stitch. Okay, and now you've got yourself a clean edge and 14 stitches. So now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So you're going to go ahead and keep on repeating that last row. So you're going to work a front post half double crochet all the way down with a regular half double crochet in the very last stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. You are going to do that for, I'm just reading my pattern here, sorry you guys. You're going to do that for 33 more rows. So you should have a total of 34 rows of front post half double crochet. So go ahead and do that and then come back and I will show you what we do next. Okay, so now that you finished all of your rows, you are going to take your work and fold it in half, lining up these short edges. And then what we're going to do is attach them together using slip stitches all the way down. So you're just going to push your hook in that first stitch and line it up with the other edge and push it right through. So you're creating a seam by closing, like connecting both of these edges together with slip stitches. So then you're just going to yarn over and pull right through all the loops on your hook. Okay, so let's do the next one together. You're going to push it in that hook, or sorry, push your hook in that stitch right through. Make sure that you're getting both sides and slip stitch. So go ahead and do that all the way down to the very end and then come back. Okay. So now that you've finished attaching those edges, you're just going to, throw out a little step here, chain 1, and then fasten off with a long tail because you're going to need to be able to weave it in and out of all the stitches all the way around. So go ahead and fasten that off. And then you're going to get your yarn needle or darning needle, whatever you call it. And we're going to go ahead and thread that. If you're using a really chunky yarn, which I will be in my next video, and I don't have the proper yarn needle for those, I just use my hook. So if it's easier for you to just use your hook and weave it in and out, you can do that too. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to go in and out around this edge all the way around. Okay. Oops. What happens when I try and go really, really fast for you guys? I mess up. Okay, so you're just going to keep on going all the way around. Okay, so now that we're back at the start, all you're going to do is take that little end there and pull it closed. And be very careful because you don't want your yarn to snap. If it does, it's not the end of the world. I promise you, it's happened to me too many times. and it is fixable, but it's also very annoying when that happens. So just be careful when you pull that, okay? So now when you go ahead and you pull that closed, just use your yarn needle and really like close it up and tighten it up. I just go in and out a few times just to make sure that there's no big gaps. It can get really hard. I have to wiggle it a little bit. But this it's kind of like a cotton cord material that I'm using, so it could be a little bit tricky. But anyway, you're just going to keep on going in and out like that. So keep doing that until you have the bottom nice and closed. If you pulled it and it's already closed really good, then lucky you. Mine obviously didn't do that. It could just be because I'm so afraid of snapping. When I pull it too tight with this one, it just snaps. It's like this weird brittle kind of a yarn I'm using, but I love the look of it. So, you know, you take the good with the bad sometimes. This just really works with my decor and I really like it. Okay, so when you're happy with how closed that is, then you're going to fasten it off. I like to tie a little knot here though first. And right now your work is inside out, so don't worry about it. Just go ahead and tie that off. Okay, and now flip it so it's not inside out anymore. Okay, and just fasten that off like that. And get your stuffing. So get your stuffing and have it handy because you're about to need it. Now what we're going to do, it's a little hard, there's a seam. We're going to do the same thing around this edge. You're just not going to pull it totally tight just yet. You might want to start from the inside because now your work is not going to be inside out anymore. So you might want your tail end on the inside. Just leave a little bit behind that you can work with there. And you're going to literally do the same thing. So just go ahead, weaving your yarn in and out all the way around, and then don't pull it tight. Just pause your video, pause this video right now. Go ahead, weave it in and out. Don't pull it tight yet. Come back first because I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay? Okay, so now that you're at the beginning here, you can pull it a little bit, just not too much. And to make sure that it kind of evenly, I just pull the inside one a little bit more. Okay, leave it a bit open, get your stuffing, and just go ahead and stuff it. Really good. Stuff, stuff, stuff. And just kind of keep pushing it in. Oh, please don't break. I've had the yarn snap like right at this point before, and it's so infuriating. As I say, through gritted teeth. Okay. So now, before I go pulling the other end out, you're going to go ahead and secure it. And it's going to give you another little and when you're doing your last little loop, leave a bit and just put your yarn through to secure it a little bit, and maybe do that a couple more times. But when you feel confident that it's nice and secure, then you can just fasten it off. And whatever you want to use as your little stem, if anything, whatever you want to do. Like I've seen lots of people do all kinds of stuff. You can go get twigs from outside. You can crochet a cute little stem. Some people even put like the little decorative leaves or whatever. Just go ahead and fasten that off. And then to hide that little pook, where's my hook? I usually just go and like push it in. Okay. And then in the top bit, like, you can go ahead and put whatever you want. I like to put a little cinnamon stick. I just buy a bag of them at my local grocery store and just push a little cinnamon stick in there. And that's it. You've got your little completed crochet pumpkin. So cute.